And welcome to the We Like Sportz Show. I'm your host, Ed in Columbus, with my co-host, Keith Allen. Keith,
what's good?
How is it going, my guy?
It's going well. Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. What could you be talking about? I think I have a clue. I think that has to do with the orange and brown. Yesterday, they went to Baltimore. Our Cleveland Browns, yes, we like sports, but we are Cleveland-centric. We love our Cleveland Browns. They went to M&T Bank Stadium, and they got the job done in dramatic fashion yesterday. One of 5 games, Keith, to end in regulation with a field goal kick to end it.
What a beautiful result. What a beautiful result.
Very
beautiful result.
Oh, very much. So okay. So we've had over 24 hours to digest what happened in Baltimore yesterday. How are you feeling on this Victory Monday? Because it's not just about the win, and we all know that's fine and dandy, but how it makes you feel, how it sets up the season. Because we're 6-3 now, heading into a matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers come this Sunday.
We accomplished a lot, but we can't let it. We can't just stop here. We can't. We have to beat Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Yeah,
Celebrate this win yesterday and today, and tomorrow is Schittsburg week.
That's you couldn't have said it any better myself with the way that you pronounce the city of Pittsburgh right there.
Because it'll be a waste if I ain't gonna say it'll be a waste, but it'll be a big letdown if they go into Baltimore and take a victory and then just go home next week and lay an egg at home against Pittsburgh.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the NFL. Like we talked about on Locked On Sports 216. Check us out on Sundays for a pre and post game. Keith and I, we get the job done. We get you ready for Browns action, and then we make you feel good, win or lose afterwards. And we had our chat lines blowing up yesterday. It was a fun show we had. I can't lie. There it is right there. Keith Sporting. And I always like to plug shows on this network and on this because, we help those.
216.
Yep. Also, shout out to Bougie Sports, my girls Yvette, Lana, and Lysandra. They got shows coming up tomorrow, the 14th, going to talk about Steelers week. And then on the 21st, they're going to do a Friendsgiving episode, really kind of fun. They had me on for a Halloween chug special that they did. So I want to give a shout out to them as well. So check them out.
Shout out to them. Yeah, that's what's up.
We love our females. And anytime that sports is included, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Definitely.
Nothing wrong with that.
Gotta love females.
Yeah, hey, don't get me in trouble here.
Don't get me started.
Okay. So started. Yeah, we don't want to do that. But I'm a little discombobulated today. I'm not going to lie. I've been celebrating a little bit too much when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. But we got to pay the bills, and what better time to pay the bills than now, I guess. So Keith, with further ado. It's that time it's Dubby time. Yes, Keith, Dubby time. Because if you want an energy drink that you can mix at home that doesn't give you the jitters or make you crash, because nobody wants that. If so, then try Dubby. Their products have no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin. I can't even say it, but I know it's a bad thing. They don't have it. That's a good thing. No fillers and no artificial colors. Dubby has great flavors such as Dragonade, Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, that sounds like fun, and Dub Sludge. There, Dubs right there. So head on over to w.gg and use the coupon code We Like Sports to get 10% off your order. So you'll definitely want to go do that. Also, the Snooze You Lose podcast, Uncle Joe the Black Bookie, he always gets you set with a Snooze You Lose pick of the week. So he did that yesterday. So who doesn't want to, watch some sports entertainment and maybe collect a few coins along the way. So check out Uncle Joe the Black Bookie and the Snooze You Lose podcast. And also Tight Nutrition. Head on over to Tight Nutrition. They got a good protein product over there. So tightnutrition.net/We Like Sports. So there you go, Keith. Gotta pay those bills. We do. That's what we do.
Definitely. That's important.
It is important
because the Bills never take a day off.
As I found out today when I got the mail today, who knew that? The gas. You know what I'm saying? Everybody pays their bills. I'm gonna lay back the curtain a little bit. I'm kind of old school when it comes to my bills. There's most of them are set up online. Not every single one. I kind of like getting the bill in the mail, and then I can check and see, especially with my utilities, because with the kids and everything. they always using more water. Well, actually, our water we're kind of behind. I can't even do it online if I wanted to. So I always get the usage on that. And let's just say this, Keith. I tend to take moderate to normal shower times. You know what I'm saying? But my daughter, she likes to live in the shower. And my son, as he's gotten older, he's 13 now, and he's got a 8th grade basketball scrimmage tomorrow. So shout out to him in Tays Valley West. But he's following her footsteps when it comes to shower time as well. So that's always fun to pay for their enjoyment, I guess. So
well, with him now, since the middle school's because I'm females.
Well, here's the thing, Keith. So I'm out yesterday, and so watching the Ravens-Browns game, and it's not going well. It's not going well in the third quarter. So I decide to take the lawnmower. I was going to rake the leaves, and I decided hey, I got a lawnmower. I'm going to do one better. I'm just going to cut those suckers up. I'm not feeling in a good mood anyway. So I go out there with the lawnmower, and I'm doing that for about 20 minutes. I didn't have to do it, just a little area I wanted to get. And then I see, I go back inside, and, I'm watching the game and everything. And then I go back out because I left my pair of shoes, my old pair of shoes that I use or whatever like that. So I go collect them, put them back in the garage. And my son's going, I'm like, hold on a second. The game's not over. What are you doing? He went to the park with a couple females, no names, please. But to your point, Keith, as he gets older, those shower times, I think it's for the ladies. It's for the ladies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What a wonderful thing. Clean. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It was funny because I was telling him, I was like, well, if you leave, I was like, you're not going to watch the game, and the game had tightened up a little bit, and he's with these two girls or whatever like that, and they're at the park or whatever, and he's texting me the whole time. He's like, you watching the game? I said, of course I'm watching the game. What are you doing? And I think deep down, I think he wished that he probably would have stayed home because he had his phone, and I think he was watching it a little bit. And I don't know if he had we have Spectrum cable, so I don't know if he was watching the game or not. But he kept texting me. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching the game. I'm doing better than you are, son. And so I just wanted to say, hey, look, sometimes the females are calling, but the National Football League, hey, as we get older, we realize that that's the true enjoyment in life.
National Football League is king on Sunday.
That's correct. Oh, speaking of Kings right now, we got a special appearance, and I wouldn't say it's a special appearance, but hey, we're always blessed to be in his presence, and that is one Peyton Vince. Peyton Vince, come on down.
Is this the price? Right?
Well, I don't know if it's right or not.
What's going on with you? It's going to be a lot of reshuffling on Wednesday.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about Keith's top 10. Top 10.
It's going to be a lot of reshuffling.
Oh, man. If it wasn't for the last second field goals this whole entire week, too, wait, hold on, Ed. You got Easy Ed?
Easy Eat, baby. We're dealing. We got a special guest on later.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, I had to, I was looking at him. I'm like, that doesn't look like a typical Guardians or Browns hat. Definitely
straight out of Compton.
Now, I'll tell you what, I told Keith pregame in it, but I'll tell the audience this and you, Peyton, as well. I got this hat in 1995. My parents flew me out to L.A. My aunt lived in L.A., and I went out there for a week. And she's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I went to a Dodger game. This was during the OJ trial, so we went and visited his house. I saw where he allegedly murdered his ex-wife and Ron Goldman. Allegedly. And but I wanted to go to the Compton swap meet, so I went. My uncle, God bless his heart, we went to USC campus. I want to say one thing about the USC campus: stay on the USC campus. If you venture one block off it, you're in South Central right there. So so then we went to Compton, and I actually saw where Venus and Serena played tennis. That was kind of cool.
Oh, okay. That's
and
cool.
But yeah, I went to the swap meet, and I wanted to Compton hat. A big Easy E fan. And so, yeah, that's why I'm rocking this today, because like I said, we have a special guest on later rocking the Raiders gear. And I know I got my silver and black on today. I tried to appease the guests a little bit and make them feel at home. And I thought with these colors, at least, and with the coach of the Raiders, Pierce, he was talking about why, he was a New York Giant or whatever, but talked about why he was a Raiders fan, because he grew up, I think in that area in Oakland and Compton. Well, I think it was Oakland maybe, but the fact is, hey, anytime you're rocking the CPT,
grew up in Compton.
You're a Raiders guy, and like I said, we're trying to make people feel it.
Yeah, Pierce grew up in Compton.
Oh, did he? Okay, so he did. I was right. I thought I had heard that.
Yeah, he's from Compton.
Okay, I had my listening years on it. Actually,
shout out to Pierce, 2-0 as the coach of the Raiders.
Yeah, he should. I'd imagine that he ends up getting hired too. He should be something full time.
So
if the way that these players, and I know obviously we'll dive into it later on today, but the way that the players are responding too, I mean, it seems that like so far it's been, and it's not going to be in the news either, but it seems like it's been such a long time ago since anything happened with Chandler Jones. It's somebody that's been forgotten about. It's somebody that's no longer going to be recognized as part of the organization whatsoever. But you have guys like Max Crosby that have a big game. One of their linebackers had a big game on Sunday night against the Jets. And you ended up having, Aiden O'Connell, somebody that was from Purdue. He's one of the few people to be successful straight out of the gate, I think, in their first couple of starts. I saw some kind of statistic. I don't remember it offhand. But they look like they're turning the corner, though. I don't want to be that guy that's just because a team's winning a game or two. But they look like they're responding well. And at the end of the day, Pierce should be the full-time coach. I think he's making a great argument overall, without a doubt, please.
I think, Peyton, great point. But the one thing I thought was the greatest thing was after the game, in the locker room, you had Davante Adams hooping it up, dancing around, looking like he's having a fun time. And let's be real, the Raiders need their stars. Like you said, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones and obviously, but Davante Adams, you get him on board, you're making a good impression, especially with Davis as the owner. I got a friend and at work, and his sister lives out in Oakland, and she's a season ticket holder to the Raiders games. And she was saying that in Mark Davis's owner's box, after a couple games early on, he was getting booed. But as soon as he fired McDaniels, and he's been getting Pierce on, he's been getting the standing ovations as he leaves the box after. Now let's be real. Give Pierce and the Raiders credit, but they happen to beat the Jets and the Giants. Now we'll see what happens when they get.
They could easily lost to the Jets. Easily.
They should have. Saw that last play.
McDaniels there, they probably would have lost to the Jets.
Well, that's true.
For real. And think about it. You playing the Giants. The Giants weren't no cinch win either when Tyrod Taylor was quarterbacking them for that temporary
they look better.
time.
They
look better, actually.
I know.
So, and guess what? The Raiders are in second place in the AFC West.
It's a crazy world. It is a crazy
5-4.
world.
And people always talk about Justin Herbert and all this. What has he won? And they talk about it, but they don't never mention his money. And he makes way more than Deshaun. Deshaun's 5-1 this year as a starter.
He does.
And the Chargers are 4-5.
Herbert's always been that rough type of quarterback, though, too. If you ended up looking at him and following him just from a fantasy football perspective, years past, last year, he's somebody that's been inconsistent. This year, that's not one of the quarterbacks I was looking at when I was drafting. I had Justin Fields, but I'm probably better off going with Justin Herbert. I picked the wrong Justin, probably.
I ain't gonna lie though, Justin Fields gets you points too when he plays, but
and when he shows up. Just like Deshaun Watson could win the Brown games if he shows up on the field.
Yeah.
Let's do this
next Sunday.
We got our guest coming on a little later on, but it'll be the first time you do this, Peyton Vince, with us. But let's go, because I don't want to regurgitate things and then be too filtered. So let's go around the NFL right now. And like, okay. I love doing, let's go around the NFL. And what we'll do is, like I said, a lot of people, they've already had their fix and everything with NFL, and we're not reinventing the wheel here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the game. And then just say one thing that you want, your first thought that comes to mind, or something that you want to say, maybe not the obvious, maybe something, side thing or something like that, maybe people haven't heard in the last 24 hours. So we'll start. I don't know why we have to, but we have to. We got to go over to Germany. We got to talk about the Colts 10, the Patriots 6. The only thing
Did anybody watch that game?
I'm just glad it didn't happen on U.S. soil.
Yeah.
Make sure I forgot that game happened. Over there. I knew it was a game, but I didn't know what. And I said, wait a minute. Oh, that was the game. No wonder. Did anybody really watch that game? For real?
I think they drew in the ratings a .000000010 probably rating on a Sunday morning in Germany's game. Congratulations for your cup of coffee and watching that game. You probably took a nap in the middle of it as well.
Exactly.
I guess the one word I could say or one phrase is
Whatever
Mac
you want.
Jones getting yelled at.
That was funny. Now that was yeah, he was getting
poor guy.
Yeah.
Not even, you can't really do that much. I mean, it's almost, you could officially say by the time in 2 or 3 weeks, I think, you'll see if Mac Jones has a career in the NFL or not. I think that's more so his leash. He might end up being just a career backup, but if you want to see him as a starter, it's now or never, and it looks like the organization's going against him.
Yeah. Well, rightfully so. He's horrible.
Alabama.
There you go. This game brings me joy only because it's twofold.
I forgot to say one thing though on that game.
Yeah, go ahead, Keith.
Minshew mania.
What does that translate in German? How does that work in German? Is Minshew mania?
Yeah, toilet bowl.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, like I said, this game brings me joy twofold here because, Peyton, it brings you joy too because it's a division rival of us because you're obviously a Steelers fan. We're Browns fans. But the Texans and C.J. Stroud from the Ohio State University keeping his, I say, MVP campaign going. Not only offensive player, rookie of the year, but maybe MVP. As the Texans win 30-27 in one of those 5 games that ended with a field goal. Like I said, I've already said what I got to say. I'm very happy about this game.
Hey.
Go ahead, Vince.
Ohio State University.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Peyton, what's your thoughts?
Honestly, kind of going off of you. Okay. MVP conversation. CJ Stroud has entered the chat.
I agree. I mean, people talk about he's only a rookie. I know the Texans are 5-4, but let's be real. The Texans got more wins probably than we thought they're going to have in the next probably 2 years.
Look at what happened when they had long neck Davis Mills at quarterback. There was a nobody. You see the success of a quarterback. You could have seen this last year if Davis Mills was actually successful and actually as good as a quarterback as CJ Stroud. Obviously, everything worked out for them in the right way that you got a draft pick and finally an Ohio State quarterback that, knock on wood, might pan out to actually be successful. But at the end of the day, the quarterback could always help an organization. And you see it with the Browns. You see that change. You see it with, look at a couple of these bad teams that were good now. Miami, the Eagles, the quarterback makes the organization. Pittsburgh, you see it too, just on the other end. Kenny Pickett's not a great quarterback. I have something on that later on too, eventually.
I'm sure you do. Do you think a giraffe looks at Davis Mills and says, "Hey, what's up, long neck?"
He definitely ends up having a little bit of help whenever they end up going up on the long tree branches. That's what they do, probably.
Low-hanging fruit, I know, with my bad jokes. Sorry.
And think about it. C.J. Stroud that made them receivers at Houston better. Nobody heard of that Dell kid.
Yep.
Nobody heard of him. Noah Brown didn't amount to nothing in Dallas. And he had Dak.
Yeah, he's having over 300 yards. Well, in the last 2 games, I think combined or whatever. I think that's what they were saying.
Exactly. I was like, Noah Brown.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and then you had Tank Dell the game before that. Nobody knew, and then emerged. And then this game, you expected Tank Dell to do what Noah Brown did, and
right, exactly.
Instead, it's the opposite result. So again, fantasy football players, I picked up Tank Dell. I feel your pain. If it's even pain, I still got points. But it's not as many as I hoped it was if Noah Brown was the guy.
Well, I'll let CJ Stroud, as a fellow Buckeye alum, I'll let CJ Stroud know that my guy Peyton Vince has taken down and that he needs to get involved.
Yeah, let him know that my fantasy team matters so much more than him actually trying to win a ball game. It's money in my pocket at the end of the day.
We're family at Ohio State. We'll get it done for you. We'll get it done for you. Well,
Make sure you get Aaron Kraft too.
I love Aaron Kraft. Yeah. Speaking of Aaron Kraft, I told my boy who plays basketball, I said, play like Aaron Kraft and they won't be able to take you off the floor. And he's right. A hustle, heart, desire right there. Aaron Kraft is the guy, just like Matthew Dellavedova, but I transgress here. Let's move on to the Saints and the Vikings. My guy, Joshua Dobbs, very smart. And he's looking like his acumen's it's going on the field as well. Because, everywhere he goes, he keeps winning, putting up big numbers. 27-19 Vikings over the Saints. Kirk Cousins, who? That's all I got to say.
Man. It's only a matter of what Man. Josh Dobbs.
Smart guy.
It's not rocket scientist, guys. It's football.
It's football. There you go. There you go.
Man, it just shows that a lot of these guys, all they need is the opportunity.
I mean, honestly, and I guess you could kind of compare it this way, but it's not necessarily on the same scale. Would you guys end up comparing this run for Josh Dobbs similar to what Tim Tebow did, or like
that's a good
Jeremy Lin, like a Linsanity, like just that spark? Because now, no matter what, he's a household name. He's a smart guy. He's done so much in life just from off the football field. Then he gave it a shot, and I mean, he got started in Pittsburgh. He was one of the Steelers' quarterbacks as a backup for the longest time. Would be better than 99% of what they end up having right now, probably. They're probably looking back at this too. But you're seeing what an opportunity it gets you. He had a chance at the Browns. They traded him away. Arizona won a game with them. Goes to Minnesota, knows nobody. This past game, he had to be shown, I think it was a home game. He had to be shown where the locker room is. Still wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, and like I said, it's amazing what he's doing. But I love what you said about Tebow and Insanity right there. And like I said, this is going to set him up because, like I said, no matter what happens, and he's probably going to be that guy that goes somewhere, and there's always that stable guy, and then they'll bring somebody else in. He'll move on to somewhere else and kind of keep that going right there.
Like Teddy Bridgewater almost.
Yeah.
Like what Geno Smith was expected to be, but now became a starter.
Yeah.
He'll be back here for a third time.
At least that would be the hope, I'd imagine.
Well, let's just hope that Sean stays healthy and it's not a problem.
He'll be back here for a third time.
Well, we'll go to this game because all I got to say about this game, it got a little chippy at the end. You tell me about it, Peyton Vince. Your Steelers 23, Green Bay Packers 19. What's going on? Why you guys play so rough? What's going on there?
I mean, honestly, they played until the whistle, and the offensive coordinator got taken out on the sideline too. So I'm not saying it was deserved, but the way that the offense looks sometimes, a lot of fans probably weren't upset about that. I'm not saying I was one of them by any means, but I'm sure somebody out there was happy that he got nailed on that drive near the end. But honestly, I mean, going back to this game, it's not going to be one word because this is my time to shine.
Right, this is your day. Right, that's why I give it to you
guys
first.
Always get the Browns. I get my 5 minutes of fame, if that, for the Steelers. For being honest, to start things off, Sunday's game, would love to see it if it was at 8 o'clock, our Sunday night football game, not Thursday. I don't know why I said that, but a Sunday night football game. It should have been. It won't be, though, because the NFL needs 12 days notice in order for that to happen. A buddy and I were talking about that at work, and that's kind of the frustration is, for one, shout out to Brandon. I'll give him a shout out. If he's even watching, I doubt it. We'll find out. But anyways, he ended up pointing that out, though, because I'm like, it just makes sense for that to be a Sunday night football game. You have the possibility of the first place seed in the AFC North, let alone the AFC in general. If the Chiefs lose, if the Jacksonville Jaguars lose, in that Thursday night game, Baltimore loses. It's a lot of what ifs, but there's a lot on the line, though, in that game as well. Don't like that decision. On top of that, Jalen Warren had a touchdown, and I think Najee Harris did as well. Why isn't Jalen Warren? They have him as a split back, and he's had more carries, more than expected at the start of the year. But he should be the number one. He's had that burst speed. Browns fans have seen it against him.
Yep.
Seen it in any of these games so far. It's just burst speed, and it keeps on going. Why do they keep on going with Najee Harris still? Would be my question. I mean, even if you get
Vince, you know what I'm going to tell you? That answer is first round draft pick. You get more chances than anything.
And what's his value in return? Even if you try to trade him, you're probably getting nothing. And that's why you're stuck with them. And the thing is, too, is Keith, another thing, Alabama, another great college, running back from there. The same reason why, what did I say before? Alabama quarterback, Mac Jones. Why does he get so many opportunities? Same reason.
First round draft pick.
Same thing. And it's so frustrating. But it is what it is. I digress on that side.
When you a first round draft pick, you get chance after chance after chance after chance, unless you're Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel.
God, yeah, or ever a member of the general Browns organization quarterback room.
Yep. Shout out to Aaron. Thanks for it is Joshua Dobbs' season. It is in full effect this year. So yeah, thanks for the comments. Chat line's open, like Keith says. So keep them coming.
Because I ain't gonna be honest. If Mike Tomlin want to start Najee Harris and keep him in the game all game this Sunday, I'm with it.
I'm not. I'll go down to the sideline. I wish myself, But anyways, the last thing, and this is kind of the whole point of the Steelers game and the whole side of bringing up the number 1 seed. If Deshaun Watson's healthy, I mean, he ended up sliding, having an ankle injury, mysteriously has a great second half. I mean, football, you more than likely got some kind of cortisone shot. Either way, if not, that's just speculation. I don't have proof, but you had something to end up helping out your ankle because, I mean, 14 for 14 after limping off with an ankle is Patrick Mahomes type. I'm comparing Deshaun Watson to Patrick Mahomes now.
He was up there one time.
That, and he hasn't, Browns fans haven't seen it yet, but maybe that's the corner that's finally being turned. But I'm not worried as a Steelers fan come Sunday. I just think that it wouldn't be a surprise if they end up losing. I'm not hoping that happens, but Kenny Pickett, all in all, he's just a good game manager. That's it. And that's all you really need sometimes. He's just a good game manager, but he's below average because, again, against the Packers, Jordan Love had 2 touchdowns, 200-some yards. Kenny Pickett had like 125 yards throwing.
I know. I've seen that.
That's it, and it's common now. The last 2-3 weeks, it's common that he's getting less than 200 yards. That's not starting quarterback material. That's not even like XFL numbers, USFL. You name the league, they're not doing that.
There's high schoolers that are getting more than that and a half.
Yeah. I've seen my fair share. Ed's seen his fair share. I'm sure Keith has too. You end up seeing these quarterbacks that end up showing out on Fridays. You got Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh University showing you a mediocre tutorial on Sundays.
I'm just going to say this. Since y'all not going to draft high enough to get a starting quarterback because y'all finishing over 500, you better start looking at quarterbacks in college. For real. The guy from Washington State, the King, I think his last name King or somebody, he's pretty nice.
Yeah, they got some good ones out in the Pac-12. I mean, whatever. Well, formerly, I don't know what's going to be next year, but this year
they got some good quarterbacks in that league. For real.
No, we'll move on here to speaking of quarterbacks, especially in Cleveland. We'll talk about one Baker Mayfield. He gets a 20-6 win over Will Levis in the Tennessee Titans. Baker 18-29, 2 touchdowns and an interception, QBR 62.3. But Will Levis looks like he's turning back to a rookie here, 19-39.
All they got to do is get tape on you.
100. Speaking of under 200 yards, he had 199 yards in an interception. So my thing is this: when you got a rookie quarterback, you expected the Tampa Bay's got a pretty good defense, and like I said, speaking of game managers, Baker's pretty good at just being a game manager, and he managed the game yesterday for the Buccaneers. Keith, what do you got on this?
Baker is starting to learn. Don't be the person that loses the game. You don't have to be the person that wins it. But you damn sure better not be the person that loses.
I agree on that. I mean, honestly, the Browns game saw it that way. You almost had Dustin Hopkins almost lose the game, but the defense pretty much said, hey, we got you back. This is going to be on you again. It's your opportunity to lose the game.
Yes.
We got you until then, and you saw a good result. That Cade York's probably not making that, if we're being honest.
Woo! Thank you, Vince. Thank you. And that validates my argument from August when I told some people of mine that Cade York has to go. And they was like, well, you got to fuck giving him another chance. No. He not making field goals in exhibition games when it counts. You think he's going to make a field goal in Pittsburgh September 18th when it counts? A field goal against San Francisco when it counts? No. Get rid of him.
Speaking of San Francisco, this is a game that I like to revel in a little bit because on the Locked On Sports 216 pregame, Keith put up these 3 games, and one of them was the 49ers at Jacksonville, and I picked the 49ers, and Keith kind of scoffed at me. He's like, no, Jacksonville, they're a really good team. I said, no, Keith, they are a really good team, but they're not when they play in Duval, and I won't even say at home because, I don't know, sometimes I feel like their home is London, maybe. But yes, 49ers
probably will be.
Yeah, so
it probably will be in the future.
So, but yeah, 49ers looking like they're back on their ways. 34-3. What do you guys think about this one? Because, like I said, I'm just gonna pat myself on the back because I got it right. I didn't really care who wins this game, but it's. I think the 49ers are showing that once again. You can go through adversity, but the cream rises to the top, and they must be mad about all those losses.
And it makes a difference when you have a healthy Christian McCaffrey and a healthy Deebo Samuel. And you get a spark plug in drafting Chase Young as well, who had I think he had a sack and had 2 quarterback hits.
Where do you go to school at, Keith? Where do you go to school at again?
The Ohio State University.
What about that other guy, that Bosa guy?
And that Bosa guy, too. I'm going to tell y'all something real quick. I remember when Joey Bosa was at Ohio State, and they showed a high school game, and they showed Nick. Man, I said to myself, I was telling all my peoples, I was like, Nick is better than Joey. It was like, you serious? I'm like, I'm dead serious. This dude, I think he was a junior in high school, and his motor higher.
Woo!
Now, Joey Bosa is cold. Don't get me wrong, but Nick's motor is higher than Joey's.
Yeah.
And I feel like Joey plays for the wrong team, too.
Yeah,
that
right.
That too.
Would look a lot better probably elsewhere. But going back to
a lot better in orange and brown, I think, too.
A lot of people probably would. That defensive line, though, could only get so good, though. You know, you could only end up improving so much.
Hey,
eventually, it comes to the money.
Check out, Vince. Shove them in and shove them out. Shut them in, shove them out.
Just rotate them nonstop.
Yes.
That's what you got to start doing with the running backs, too. I mean, Nick Chubb, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, shove them in, shove them out. They're all the same.
That's it. Kareem Hunt.
Shove Kenny Pickett out. Don't put him back in.
Mitch Trubisky, shove out completely. I don't understand. Again, you mentioned Kenny Pickett. Any game that he finishes in, he's only had 1 loss. Every other game he's actually played completely in, he's won. That's why I end up having the argument, too, as well, that he's a good game manager. Because then he's in the game. He makes a difference. You also have that mobility as a quarterback that Trubisky lacks. But, I mean, he's like 10-1 or 11-1 as a quarterback, which makes if he plays the whole game, which is mind-blowing.
I think Kenny Pickett's unlucky. Here's why. If the number 13 is unlucky, I got a stat for you. Kenny Pickett has played, I think it was, he's got 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and I think 13 games. I think that he's actually played or whatever like that. So here's some numbers for you right there.
Not a fan of the number 13. That's why he should probably stick to 8.
There you go. But yeah, we got anything on the 49ers Jaguars game before we move on, or because
bye week makes a difference.
There you go. Well, we're going to go to another bird game here. We got the Kyler Murray Cardinals defeating the Falcons 25-23 in one of the other games that ended with a field goal as well. My thing is Kyler Murray, he runs around, but that's fun and entertaining. But, I mean, if he's your franchise quarterback, I don't know. The jury's still out with him. So that's all I got in that bird fest.
Did anybody actually watch that game?
Birds, maybe.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Skyview.
Yeah, Skyview, right? Perched on top.
So, fun fact from what I saw on one of the Pittsburgh accounts on X. I think this is the first time I've ever been on the show and actually said X out loud instead of Twitter. So this is a change. But yeah, that's such a weird adjustment. But I'm glad you're able to do an X just like you're able to spell your name, Ed.
Yeah, I know. It's the little things.
It's what makes you tick in life, you know?
That's the kind of
But anyways, one of the Pittsburgh accounts on X ended up saying, I think going into this weekend's game, Kyler Murray might be one of the quarterbacks that the Steelers could go after. So I don't know if they'd be drafting this upcoming year. But if they ended up going for Kyler Murray, I don't know how I feel about that. Like Kenny Pickett, obviously, I just said what I said about him. But Kyler Murray, like Ed said, runs around the pocket. He runs around all day, scramble,
all day.
Gets nowhere.
Still running.
And somebody ends up all the time on X. You always end up seeing somebody tweet out saying, or tweet out on X, post, whatever. I don't care. It's not my problem.
But right. We're going back to Twitter. It's back to Twitter again.
Yeah, we're going back to tweets, not posts. Yeah. But anyways, he runs around like a child trying to get something taken away from him. And you see it every single time whenever Kyler Murray runs. And you see that child running away with the goodies, with the candy that he just stole off the table. That's Kyler Murray. I 100% see it. I know he'd be an improvement for Pittsburgh if they ended up having him, but who else is out there? Are you able to draft somebody that's better? Because Kyler Murray, face it, whenever it comes to video games, Call of Duty Black Ops came out on Friday. There's a reason why he didn't come back last week.
He's banging.
He didn't come back last week. He wanted to wait till release week and play his game on Friday, end up playing Saturday on college, and then Sunday end up running around and barely squeaking out a victory. But nonetheless, I mean, the whole entire Atlanta team and their debacle with Bijan Robinson, you have to feel for. And the coach had some long-winded explanation on the usage.
5 minutes, I think. 5 minute long.
Yeah, 5 minutes. I mean, who's sitting down watching that? I mean, I sent it to you.
Yeah, that's how I know. I actually listened to it, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to it anymore.
Yeah, you ended up zoning out. I just saw it, and I'm like, this just seems long-winded, and I didn't end up even going any further. But it just sounds like the Falcons organization is dealing with a minor mess, and minor might be a little less emphatic and emphasized than anything else.
The tale of two inept organizations.
Yeah, that's
without a doubt.
Because think about this. If they trade Kyler Murray, they're going to end up with another runner like that with Caleb Williams if they are the number one pick.
If he wants to play there, too.
I know.
That's true.
How much crying would be going on in those stands in Arizona?
Because honestly, Caleb Williams does the same thing Murray does. And he going to get a rude awakening. Well, his rude awakening should have been Notre Dame. For real.
Yep.
But that's the closest thing to the pros.
How many interceptions? He had 3 interceptions that game, too.
Yeah. He had turnovers in this last game, too.
Well, he has the most fumbles in FBS in the last 2 years because he thinks he's Patrick Mahomes and he's not. He could spin the rock though. I would still definitely look at him. I do think I would rather have Caleb Williams over Kyler Murray. I don't know. It's just me. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Detroit Lions. Hey, let's go Lions. 41-38 over the Chargers, who always put up a lot of points and lose.
Detroit Lions football. Ain't nobody ever said that.
Yeah. What a surprise.
But I'm going to say this. My Super Bowl prediction of the Browns and Detroit or Dallas is damn near almost in effect.
Let's go.
Because I'm telling you, if Detroit get home field up in Detroit, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah. Goff is the man.
I mean, honestly, I want to cut this game into 2, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers are so close to almost being good.
You're right.
Like you have Keenan Allen, you have Austin Eckler, you have Herbert that we already kind of mentioned earlier on. But like right away, 3 players, like that's kind of like what you're, if I'm comparing it to Steelers of the past, that's who your Ben Roethlisberger should be. That's who your Le'Veon Bell is and your Antonio Brown. Yep. That's exactly it. But obviously Herbert, you have to figure that out with him. And I mean, he's got a pretty decent contract, but the Chargers are so close to almost being that good. And Keith mentioned the Raiders being in second place or something. The division just isn't that good, so they have a chance still. Yeah. It's just they're not succeeding like the Guardians did in the division when it's weak, and they should be.
And think about this.
Compare that and change sports.
I'm glad you did. It makes sense to me, but you mentioned Guardians, and I'm so mad at them right now.
Think about this. The LA Chargers coach is getting fired at the end of the season. Because you got to think, they also got defensive talent too. Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
Well, they give up a lot of points. I'll tell you that. I don't know who their defensive coordinator is, but it's not Joe Woods, is it?
Everybody getting fired up there. For real.
But you know who's not getting fired? Any of the coaches and Dan Campbell in Detroit.
That's right. They're kneecap biting, and then they're moving on. That's what
everybody thought it was a joke back then, but now
they really are
laughing for real.
I mean, well, you know what though? It just shows the when you bring in a culture of, I don't know what you want to call his culture, but obviously he gets the players to play hard, and I think the real reason why they're winning in Detroit is, let's be real, Jared Goff is not as bad as what a lot of people thought he was. He's actually thriving, and him in a dome all day. I mean, he has. I liked him coming out of college actually, and I thought he would be a good pick for the Browns, but probably not, because him having to play outside in the cold weather. But you put a kid in the dome, and I mean, gosh. I mean, that's why I think the Browns, even look at Deshaun Watson, a lot of these players, like, you know how good the Browns offense would be if they had a dome? Like, they're built for a dome, I think. And a lot of these teams, their high-powered offenses are. And it's just, I don't know. I love to see the weather, and sometimes you see Denver with the snow games and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's fun to watch. But if I was actually at the game, just put me in 70 degrees. Let me take off my coat inside a dome, and let me just use my vocal cords to get my message across on defense.
Plus, if I try to eat a hot dog, it won't freeze.
That matters. Hot dog matters.
Know, honestly, being at enough Browns versus Steelers games near the end of the year, no matter what, either perspective for me, if you end up going to Pittsburgh, it's outside. If you end up going to Cleveland, it's outside. Either way, I've had a ton of fun going to those games. But man, if it would be 70 degrees and in a dome back then, right? Instead of holding on to my hot chocolate and my frozen hands and my tons of layers.
Yes, and having the warmers on your hands and everything.
Yeah, I mean, and you have 13 hats on, 13 hoodies, and then you end up having 13 jerseys.
And you get sick anyways, and you're sick anyways the next day anyways. No matter what you do, you're sick. You got a cough. You don't feel good. You're sore. You're tired.
Usually you'd be okay even the next day, and then you just wake up a Browns fan, and then you realize you're really sick usually after that game.
That was very well played. Very well played. Very well played. And for that, we're moving on.
Sunday, right?
that was really good. This is Steelers Browns week, so hey, let the trash talking commence here. But
that's why I came back.
Yeah, that's what. Of course. How convenient! How convenient he comes back for this week. Yeah.
Too bad my hairline can't though. You see this?
Well, Jesus. Hey. It's all right.
What kind of hair care sponsors do we have out there? Do we have anyone yet? Anybody? Tweet us at We Like Sportz.
We Like Sportz. Yeah, always the consummate professional looking for sponsors, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I could use something. I mean, we have so many great products.
Your coach wants you to follow his lead.
Oh, Stefanski with this?
No, Mike.
No,
Tomlin.
Tomlin.
You're telling me to go bald and just go with the beard?
That's
what be the first person to tell me that.
Well, let's go to Commanders and Seahawks if this isn't riveting enough. Another game that ended in a field goal. That's why, again, 29-26, Seahawks get it done. Commanders, Riverboat Ron, some of his decisions that he makes by not going for two, and then there's a lot of people getting on him. I mean, I think Howell's playing okay. They put up points. They find ways to lose, and I think they need a new direction. And
I just think the Ron Rivera days is basically over. And honestly, this would probably be the opportunity for Eric Bieniemy to be head coach.
Sleeping with the enemy, be enemy.
Yeah, this would probably be his opportunity to be a head coach.
If you guys don't know what that means,
because think about this. He got Sam Howell balling out.
Yeah, I was going to end up going into that one.
He got Sam Howell playing. Just imagine.
I said Sam Howell's balling. I said that. I feel
Howell
like
balling out.
I don't know.
Do you want to get in your one-liner?
I have to. That Sleeping with the Enemy. That was an old Chris Berman on ESPN Prime Time. It was a movie, Sleeping with the Enemy. So every time Eric Bieniemy, it was Sleeping with Bieniemy. I had, there's a little history for all you people that are young and not old like I am. Okay, we're moving on. Peyton Vince.
God, I love you so much because like it's that one-liner right there It's just so quirky, just kind of like the Indian guy and Chris Berman in Longest Yard almost. Like it's almost similar.
I try. Here's the thing. So I got mad at somebody at work today. Okay, we're gonna go Raiders Jets here. And we won't speak too much because I got a guest coming on, but do you guys know about the Heidi Bowl? Peyton, do you know about the Heidi Bowl?
I know about the Heidi Bowl.
He knows about the Heidi Bowl. And this guy.
They had her on there before the game came.
They had her on. Okay,
Heidi Klum?
No. Well,
that's the only one I think of.
Okay, well, here's the deal. So I get mad at Frank at work. Shout out to Frank at work, but he's a big Raiders fan. And okay, he's older than
Frank at work. I got a Brandon at work. That's why I gave Brandon the shout out. Is because
everybody's got somebody at work. Keith's got an Ed at work as well. So
Ed's a Cincinnati fan. He wasn't too happy to see me today.
Man, that's too bad. Sorry, Ed. But here's the thing: Frank at work, big Raiders fan, older than I am. Okay, and I said I mentioned this before this game even was played earlier this past week. I said the Heidi Bowl. He looked at me like, "What am I talking about?" My dad. Shout out to my dad who taught me civic pride, taught me 88 counties in Ohio, taught me everything to be a good American. Okay. He told me about the Heidi Bowl game. And what it was in 1968, the Jets were at the Oakland Raiders. And what had happened was the game was on NBC. And Heidi was a movie. It was this little girl, Heidi. I don't know. I don't know if it was a Disney movie, but it was a Heidi kind of movie where this little girl and she does her thing or whatever like that. So they cut the game off and they put Heidi on instead because Heidi was supposed to come on at 7:00 or whatever like that. And what happened was Daryl LaMonica led the Oakland Raiders back to beat Namath and the Jets. And they won that game, but nobody knew about it. We didn't have ESPN at the time.
And I think at the time, now it's the the AFL championship at that time too, wasn't it?
Yeah. So people would call up the New York Times, they called up NBC and said, look, we don't know who won the game. And because of the Heidi Bowl, they'll never, ever take a game off. If they put a game on, even if they go to extra bonus coverage until the conclusion of the game because of the Heidi Bowl. And because of that.
And that was back when they had like the strict start and stop.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't have the DVR like you have nowadays. And you could end.
You ain't had none of that stuff.
5 minutes later.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Oh, you ain't had none of that stuff.
That's the history of that. And I won't go into the game. Obviously, the Raiders won 16-12. We talked a little bit about the coach and everything and the philosophy and the culture that he's bringing. But we'll have our guests talk more about that.
But to jump back really quick, though, about the Commanders, I wanted to comment on one thing.
Yeah.
Sam Howell's leading the NFL in passing yards.
Yep.
Dead serious.
That's what I said.
I'll call up Casey right now, and he'll end up pulling up the stat check-in, too, because he's our source usually.
Yeah, shout out to Casey and whatever he's doing. You know, he's
probably playing softball.
Yeah, I miss him, but then I think of
with
that
his Baker Mayfield jersey on.
He's got some weird. I don't know.
Or with his Miles Straw jersey.
I know what is that about? I don't know.
But he used to have a Casey Kochman one too. He probably still does. He got it because of their names were similar.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I said, if Miles Straw is starting in center field next year, he must be in the Illuminati or something.
Got some photos of someone.
Right, you got some photos.
Well, what we can do, we can preview tonight's Monday night game. Broncos and Bills. Broncos country, let's ride. Bills. I've said this all year, and I know they lost last week, to Cincinnati, 24-18. There's nothing wrong with the Bills. I know they're 5-4, but they just don't look like the elite Bills teams that we saw the last 2 to 3 years. I don't know what it is. Well, I kind of know what it is. They can't run the football, and I don't think their defense is as good as what it used to be. So what are your thoughts going into tonight? I think the Bills win this game. They're at home. They're 7-point favorites, but I don't think it's going to be as convincing as what probably it should. And the Broncos, they're coming off, they shocked the Chiefs a couple of weeks. Was it last week?
Broncos are playing well.
So, yeah, they're playing well. I mean, as well can be. I still think there's going to be a divorce between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson at the end of the year, but we'll see.
A lot of guaranteed money again, probably.
Yeah. I know.
It's going to be hard to come out that contract.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they like each other. That's the thing. I think it's more than just money. I think they hate each other.
They're going to have to learn the kumbaya. And
they might. They might. Well, hey, thanks. Shout out to Aaron right there. He got it. Hey, there you go. Who needs a Casey when you got an Aaron?
Woo. Hey, 783 yards. TJ Stroud, 2,626.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cass. Thank you.
That is ridiculous. What's the math there? 120 something yards difference.
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud, again, you ended up having CJ Stroud, the number 2 pick. Bryce Young, again, Alabama quarterback, first overall.
Coming up short.
Well, I know the Carolina owner right now just looking at itself like, I can't believe this.
And now,
that will set your franchise back 5 more years.
And the Bears could very well do the opposite, or else they could do the same thing. They have, I think I saw they're expected to get the first overall, and then they get 5th as of going into last weekend.
Exactly.
So I mean,
get Carolina's pick.
You'll end up getting, you get a quarterback probably because Justin Fields. Do you trade him?
Yes, I do whatever I can to get rid of him. Yes,
it might just be. I don't think he's tradable though. Like I think you might just have to end up cutting ties with him.
Why?
Somebody's going to need a backup. It's going to be one of those trades, kind of like Josh Dobbs. You're not getting starter in return. Like there's so many guys that got drafted, like Trey Lance, Justin Fields, all in the same category because they were drafted first overall. Huge expectations. One got an opportunity to end up starting, sucked at it. You have some guy, Tyson Baguette, that was he was actually a D2 quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then ended up transferring his last year and ended up going. It was a smaller school. I knew you guys were talking about it last week, but
yeah, I didn't know the school. I knew it was D2 though.
But he was D2, and I want to say he eventually ended up transferring to like D1 that last year. But like his mindset and his post-game interviews and like, I guess you could say just his poise in general. He's like a leader just because it's so unexpected. You play D2, those guys have heart, but you never hear it the same way as you do a guy D1 from Alabama or Ohio State or Duke or Oregon. You name the college, you don't have the same, like, everybody expects a Chip Kelly to end up transitioning into the NFL, but they don't expect a D2 quarterback to end up succeeding. And I guess that's why it makes such a good story, too.
And
also, see you later.
And also, you got to look at it also since they've really had their ass kissed since they stepped on a Division I campus.
Yeah, that's the thing. Entitlement.
They had that entitlement, and they really never held themselves accountable.
Yeah, I mean,
where Tyson Baggett
memorabilia times even
where Tyson Baggett then had to literally work for everything he's had. Because Division II is partial scholarships. And then probably got to Division I. He probably wasn't a scholarship athlete at first. So he's basically had to scrap for everything he's gotten.
I want to give a clap. Keith, let's give Peyton Vince a round of applause here. He went around the NFL first time. He went around the NFL. Let's give Peyton. Let's do that.
I went around the NFL.
You went around the NFL.
Hey, did we do the Browns?
Are you dizzy? Are you dizzy right now?
We didn't yet. I'm not that dizzy because we didn't do the Browns game, I think.
We didn't do the Browns game.
How could I forget?
Well, you tell us.
Because here's why. Because I think when we first started the show, Keith and I, we did mention it, and I just thought to myself, I was gonna wait for Phil Robinson to come on because when he talks Raiders, I'm gonna have to talk Browns. It's what OGs do. It's what OGs do. But
I'm gonna end up heading out though when Phil Robinson joins.
Okay,
I'm not gonna end up giving the spotlight all towards us.
Then Peyton Vince, you tell us about the Browns and Ravens yesterday. Then.
Okay, Browns versus Ravens. Here we go. This was some of my notes too. And for one, I want to end up hitting back on with the Raiders thing for Phil if he ends up wanting to end up talking about it. I want to hear what his thoughts are about Aaron Rodgers saying that he's going to be back by mid-December now with his Achilles because he decided to do that on Sunday Night Football. Apparently somebody on Twitter, I think it was kind of funny. I got a little cackle out of it. But is Aaron Rodgers just upset that the spotlight's on Kelsey and Swift? He's trying to prove science that
he needs to shake that off.
Yeah, he's trying to shake off that Achilles injury. But anyways, so I wanted to end up mentioning, for one, if we ended up doing a player of the game, I know we don't, but if we ended up doing one in that first half, Mike Ford. Huge hit going into the half, then right afterwards on Lamar out of bounds. Next play, he gets an interception going right into halftime. No interceptions before in the past for him, for any team that he's played with. I think they said 4 teams during the broadcast that he's played with. First one happened on Sunday for him after playing however many years. Right away you assume 4, but it's only 4 teams, so who knows? Statistics are always scattered. I wanted to ask you guys, but I also kind of heard the answer today at work as well with trusted acquaintance Brandon / friend. But why didn't Stefanski trust Dustin Hopkins going into half?
I think honestly, with it being a 60-yard field goal and the fact that nothing went right in the first half, and if that kick gets blocked, and the Ravens have blocked our field goal.
Well, Tucker had just got blocked earlier on in the game. I think he figured if Tucker got blocked, then
and think about it. And if the Ravens return that block kick to the house, game's literally over, because you got to think Baltimore came out in the second half and scored immediately. And then instead of it being,
I think 60 is just too far for him. Maybe.
Yeah. Instead of it being 23-9, you possibly looking at a 30-9. And there's no way you get back after that.
Because people talk about, they were saying he was kicking 60-yard in pregame or whatever like that. But that's not that's
not with 11 people coming after you.
People jumping up and you know what I'm saying?
And now teams trying to do like Myles Garrett did, jump over the line now.
Yeah.
And a longer field goal kick is a shorter trajectory too.
Yeah.
My buddy from work ended up saying too, what he heard, the theory was because there was still some time left on the clock, and if Hopkins would have missed, they would have ended up having the ball at midfield.
That's true.
And Justin Tucker also had a huge leg
too.
That could drill a 60-yarder too.
Yeah,
which that makes sense as well. And plus the field goal block thing, Browns aren't winning that game if that's a field goal block, let alone a field goal block return.
Right.
That would be disaster going in halftime. Because think about it.
Momentum's huge.
As bad as they play, and they've come within 1 score at half.
Yeah.
And then they do all that, and you get a field goal blocked, and they return it to the house. Man, everybody be talking about fire Stefanski.
Yep. Could you say deflated afterwards?
Woo. And then think about this. Then as soon as Lamar and them come out after halftime, he throws a pass slant to Odell Beckham and he takes it to the house. That's game. Yep. There's no way the Browns coming back after that.
You'd be fizzled out so quickly. But I wanted to end up talking about too with Watson. It's funny because I ended up telling Ed too earlier before the show that I ended up having some notes jotted down, and I actually did it before and after here because I looked back at my notes and I ended up looking at them and I'm like, it really was a tale of 2 halves because initially
2 different football games.
Watson's ankle injury. He should learn how to slide like he's a $250 million quarterback if that's going to be the case with his ankle. And then after I read that, after jotting it on from a piece of paper off the good old iPhone, hashtag not a sponsor yet. If you're interested, We Like Sportz PC.
No shame here.
Apple. But in the second half, he played like a $250 million quarterback. Also, did you guys just get this update as well? I don't know if you want to have it as part of your breaking news, Ed, but got some news on the AL Rookie of the Year.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, break it. Go ahead.
You had Tanner Bybee, you had Gunnar Henderson, and you had Tristan Cassis from the Red Sox. Gunnar Henderson from Baltimore did win Rookie of the Year for the American League.
Matt Trigger, you did get a concession from the weekend.
Yeah. There you go.
Shout out to Matt, too. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Shout out to my dude.
Well, we went on his show, like I said, Thursday, and we had our predictions. And his prediction, he had a 42-17 Baltimore, and then his buddy had it 40-6.
I'm saying, come on now, dude. Come on now.
It sounds like a little bit of a Homer syndrome, but if we were doing score prediction for the Pittsburgh game, I'm sure it would be something close, but it'd probably be me putting in favor of the Steelers at the end of the day. But
honestly, when it was 31-17, it was on its way to turning into what Matt Trigger said. I mean, it could have got that way. Kudos to the Browns for hanging and playing tough, but there was moments in the game where it could have got uglier.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I never thought they was out of it, though. Honestly, I thought they.
That's the Homer in Keith.
No. Hear me out. Because usually I would be on Stefanski's ass, but I couldn't blame Kevin. This would have been a loss. This would have been a loss squarely on the players. Because Kevin ain't throw a pick six. Kevin ain't fumble a punt.
No, he didn't.
The defense made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, and they still hung in there. So it was really a game where the players, if they would have lost, the blame would have went squarely on them.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, honestly, too, I don't know if it's really a Homer thing, though. I think I kind of could agree with Keith in yesterday's game is that was probably the first time just watching a Browns game. It seemed like, again, in a rivalry game, it seemed like they had a legitimate chance at actually coming back and winning that. Momentum was on their side.
I just never thought
you never saw a Browns game like that in a long time. You never had the belief that, okay, they're going to actually come down, score, drive, and win this game.
Because they were moving the football. That's what the offense was moving. They weren't 3 and outs, and they were
look at them playing like a team, though, throughout that whole entire game. I mean, I didn't even touch on this, and you guys might later on, but look at the offensive line. You had Wyatt Teller pancake somebody. Cedric Tillman pop somebody and flex on them.
Yes.
I mean, you're playing like a team, and then on top of it, you had that defensive – I guess it would be mechanism. That's not even the right wording, but you have that defensive effort, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And then from the offense, or I should say the offensive line effort, I got lost in thought there. But then from the offense again, you had Jerome Ford. This was the huge momentum thing. This gives you guys hope as well as David Njoku. Look at Njoku trucking over people for an additional 7 to 8 yards. And then Jerome Ford has a run that's maybe 5 to 8 yards, but then they end up doing the what's it called in Philadelphia?
The scrum.
You know what Ford stands for, and I tweeted this out. Forged over Ravens defense.
Oh, gee. And I thought it was found on road dead.
Well, I put that one first, and then I switched.
And think about it. The Tillman hit on Van Noy set the tone. The game changed after that. Because then what that statement Tillman did, told Baltimore, look, we not Seattle and we are not Detroit. We are in the AFC North with you. So, hey, game on.
Yep. And the best part is if you're a Browns fan, you don't have to play Baltimore again. Unless if it's week 18.
Right. Or in the playoffs. That's it.
Right. That's unbelievable. But they played like a team for the first time in a long time. And you saw the effort all around. You saw, I mean, Deshaun Watson, 14 of 14 is unheard of in the second half. And it was just Amari Cooper was open all the time.
Yes. And he was double teamed.
Oh, looks like Phil's coming up.
Well, I will let Phil have his time to shine. I know you guys are going to end up hitting on the Raiders now, probably the Browns. So make sure in the comments and on Twitter, tweet at us, comment below, #RaiderNation, because we got some good Raiders guys coming on. Yep. Make sure you play that cool video package, too. I heard somebody cool ends up doing that. So when Phil comes on.
Yeah.
And last but not least, make sure to follow us on Twitter at We Like Sportz PC. Follow me personally at Peyton Vince, PaytonVince. And we'll see you guys soon. And enjoy the rest of the day. Take care, guys.
Yep. All right.
Yes. All right. Now let's get going here. And what we'll do is, we have a special guest coming on, but we We have a little video tribute here, so we'll play this first.
We are joined by host of the Unfiltered Truth podcast. He is a writer for RaiderRamble.com and a Las Vegas Raiders outsider. Phil Robinson III joins us.
That's how you set the tone, man. Good job. Good job. Yeah, bring it. I like it. Get that juice. I see you. Come on, let's go.
That's right. That's right. That is how you set the tone. And we're going to set the tone right now, bringing in my guy, Phil Robinson III. What is going on, Phil?
You set the tone, boy. That's how you set it.
Right.
What's up, Phil?
What's going on, gentlemen? How are we doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I know you're doing pretty good, too. It's a day after a win, so, hey.
Victory Monday is always a good day, brother. It's always a good day.
Hey, y'all are in second place. Second place. And think about this. Y'all doing it with a rookie quarterback.
And he's playing well. Actually playing better. Actually playing a lot better than most people are giving him credit for.
Now talk to us about and educate the We Like Sportz audience about how you see. Obviously, the Raiders made a head coaching change, and obviously Pierce, their new head coach. Tell us what you feel and what you see, not only on the field with the 2 wins against the Giants and the Jets, but how do you think the team's feel? And it looks like the morale's higher. I saw Devontae Adams dancing around after the game on social media, so it's been fun to watch the transformation of the Raiders into some fun football. But obviously, fun means winning. So what do you see with the Raiders moving forward with this coaching change and with the wins?
So allow me to age everybody on the panel real quick. Do you remember what the Raiders used to be?
Yeah.
Commitment to
commitment to excellence.
Yeah, not just commitment to excellence, not just win, baby, but the way they used to play, the way they used to carry themselves, the way they used to go about their business, the way that they used to incite the fan base to the rabid maniacs that they are today.
They play like the AFC North.
So for the last 20 years, 25 years, we'll say, the Raiders lost their way. They lost their identity. They lost their sense of who they were. And for the last 25 years, they've spent that time trying to be somebody else. And that would be it because Al was in the dwindling days of his life. And, you know, he was trying to do something the way that he used to do it and could no longer do it that way. Be it that Mark was taking ownership and trying to do everything he could but be Al. And in some cases, the apple don't fall far from the tree. And when you finally stop trying to be somebody else and you finally start being who you are, things tend to fall into place. And this team of guys that they have are not nice guys. So they are professionals. They work hard. They do what they need to do in order to succeed. But they're not nice guys. They're not clean cut, crew cuts. They'll never be on the Yankees. None of them. But when you give them somebody who allows them to be themselves, who allows them to go about their business the way that they see fit and doesn't try to mess with that, doesn't try to interject themselves and make them change what got them to this point in the first place, is what you're seeing now. And encouraging them to be the men that they are, the players that they are, and to play the way that got them to this point is ultimately what's going to continue to engineer success. Antonio Pierce, I see you with the Compton hat on. I'm sure everybody in the world has heard the stories. Everybody, oh my God, the NWA, how yeah. He grew up in the LA Raiders, the last city to see the Raiders win a championship.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a Marcus Allen and company.
In the heyday, when they were the Raiders. when they had the swag, when they had it all, when you threw on that silver and black and it was like, oh snap, here come it's Raiders week. Y'all better watch out. We got late hits, sucker punches, and all types.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Lester Hayes with the stickum.
To me, I'm old school. I'll date myself. I'm 43, but I remember I wasn't around, but I remember the silver and black, obviously in the 80s, the art shell. But I love the stories of the Steelers and the Raiders in the 70s and those AFC championship games. Now, those were some fun, hard-hitting games. And Jack Tatum and, obviously there was some yeah, that's the Raiders that I think that they need to go back to.
Okay, and see, but that feeling that the two of you have right now, just to look in your eyes right there, said what it meant to be a Raider.
Yeah,
and starting to see it come back.
Now,
the identity. Go ahead, Keith. Go ahead, Keith.
I was going to ask Phil, what do you think was Josh McDaniels' ultimate undoing in Las Vegas?
What was his ultimate undoing in Las Vegas? Now, that is a rather pointed question. So let me ask you, my podcast is called The Unfiltered Truth. So how filtered do you want this?
Hey, give it to me the truth. That's how we bring it.
Yeah, we don't.
That's how we bring it.
Said Josh McDaniels is a Midwestern conservative, and it was never ever going to work with the Raiders.
Damn. He might as well stay out the AFC West. Let's just say that.
He might as well stay out of head coaching, period.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think any player is going to
go
relate
back home to Papa.
him.
Yeah, that's where he'll be there next year. You don't need to worry. He'll be there next year, or if not next year, the year after, but he's going back.
Or he can go coach Warren Harden or Kent
McKinley. He's from obviously Ohio, Kent McKinley. And
you know what? Let me walk that back. There are a couple places that I sincerely hope he goes to coach: Los Angeles and Kansas City.
Oh, I see what you did there. Oh wow, that's
because the Chargers getting rid of
Deuce Staley.
Staley from here. Yeah, he's from here.
Not Deuce Staley, but
I will start a GoFundMe. I'll pay his salary myself, just so he never leaves.
Now, a question because I think obviously you guys have beaten the Giants, you've beaten the Jets, you scored 30 points when you beat the Giants, and now obviously this was a more low scoring game, but to fix the Raiders, because they had very much struggled offensively, not scoring over 20 points. To me, if the Raiders scored 20 points or above, they're very much in a predicament to win the game. You know what I'm saying? They got a good defense, Max Crosby, you know what I'm saying? But their trouble is scoring points. Do you think just by the change to Antonio Pierce, do you think just them going to work, being happy, you know what I'm saying, especially Devontae Adams, let's be real, as he goes, the Raiders go, and with Jacobs, do you see them actually becoming better offensively moving forward this year? Because that's what they need to do. I think to win these games, they're going to have to score average over 21 at least, I would say. They can't be 16, 17 points a game isn't going to get it done. So do you see them fixing that a little bit?
So it's an interesting thing that you bring that up, because there's a slightly different way to look at that. They blew the doors off the Giants. I knew they were going to blow the doors off the Giants. I predicted it. The Jets have a top 10 defense in this league. And
they do.
Uniquely suited and probably one of the most complete defenses in the league. It wasn't going to be a cakewalk for anybody, not to mention the fact that Aiden O'Connell has outperformed nearly every elite quarterback that played the Jets in terms of QPR, in terms of turnovers. And granted, the touchdown numbers weren't there, but touchdown numbers aren't there for anyone. The fact that he was able to limit his mistakes, not turn the ball over past that first one. The sacks got a little crazy and sometimes, but the short answer to your question is yes. They believe I believe they will get better offensively as they continue to go along. Now, the long answer to your question is that it had very little to do with coaching and more to do with the fact that they needed to make a change in the quarterback position.
Mm.
I've said it before many times on my shows, and in my writing. The Raiders are a playoff team with an average quarterback. James Richard Garoppolo, he doesn't even get full government. That's how bad he sucks. Brian Hoyer, the man was 0-13 in his last 13 games. That's nearly a straight season of losing. How he continued to collect a check is beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does. You know what I'm saying? You change the quarterback, you get more production. I mean, yeah, that should do it. I mean, okay. So with the Raiders, like, I always like to talk about what fans, because obviously the on-field, we can get into X's and O's, and that's fun and all that. But, as a Cleveland Browns fan, I saw my team leave and obviously go to Baltimore, and then we get the reiteration of a bad expansion team since '99. Now they're starting to hopefully turn the corner with Deshaun Watson. But what's it like to be to me? Like, you got a couple of sets of Raiders fans. You got obviously those that are true Oakland, diehard Oakland fans, and that they're obviously going to always believe the Raiders belong in Oakland, which I do. I feel bad for the city of Oakland and their fans. But then you got Raiders fan will ride or die with Raiders no matter where they are, whether it be LA, Vegas, or what I'm saying. And I get that. And that's why I think it's a different fan base than most franchises. Like, if you're a Cleveland or you're a Cleveland Browns fan, if you're a Raiders fan, I don't think the city much matters as much as it does to other franchises. And I think that's what sets you guys apart from that. So what is it like to be, now that they're in Vegas? Is it a different feel? Do the people in Oakland still love the Raiders? How does that work to be a Raiders fan and deal with that dynamic as fans and fandom?
So that's a multifaceted answer. So I'll give you the short version. There are some that said they were finished and have stayed away, and there are others who said they were finished and came sauntering back. And then there are some that they were going to, like myself, who said they'd continue to support the team in spirit, but not put a dime towards anything, which I still haven't. I've managed to sit in the front row of the southern end zone. I've managed to be in the box. But I still have yet to come out of pocket 1 red cent to support Regent Stadium.
Wow.
How beautiful is that stadium?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I figured. I mean,
it has a lot of the same feel to it as the Oakland Coliseum, but it's in a dome.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, okay. Now, let me ask you this, because Oakland, the city of Oakland, then lost, really, in a sense, all 3 franchises in a period of 5 years. Does it have something to do with the politics there? The reason why they couldn't get a stadium or something built there?
So there's a huge issue, and the huge issue that's going through is everybody wants ownership of the land that it sits on.
Oh,
the problem is that it's public land and they can't buy it.
Oh.
That was the hang up on why the NFL wouldn't come to grips with Coliseum City for the Raiders. And the A's were also doing their best to block all of that so they could ultimately move to Vegas too. And honestly, I have a whole litany of feelings about that, but that's not why you brought me on here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I always feel like this when it comes to sports. I mean, it's more than just sports on the field. It's also off the field. And, obviously with us dealing with the Cleveland situation back in the day.
Yeah, because we went through some of that too. Yeah.
We've had on Oakland A's guests and they've had their displeasure. And I saw their protests over the summer months over at different ballparks and things like that. And I feel for them. The Oakland A's belong in Oakland. I mean, it's ridiculous that they're even moving to Vegas, I believe. But, I mean, I don't know.
People with money ruin things. I'll just say that.
You're not wrong.
You're right about that. Definitely right about that.
No reason to own a franchise, an MLB franchise, and for what they did in pushing the Raiders out of Oakland to turn around and
then move there,
and then go to the same city. That's like a slap in the face.
Killed that deal and not allowed them to do that. Straight up, should have killed it. They should have been required to pony up the cash because Wolf and Fisher are good for it. Pay the money, and renovate the stadium and make it a modern day MLB ballpark.
Yeah. I mean, I can't.
It's inexcusable to continue to suck MLB dry from revenue sharing and then say that you got to get up and move because you can't generate anything because you've put nothing into your product.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like, okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I think it's a sad situation, and I feel bad for the fans of Oakland. I think that, like Cleveland, Oakland has diehard fans. They're good fans. They've always been good. They've always supported their teams, and it's not like the Raiders games weren't sold out. It's not like even Oakland. I mean, they had their times, but just like with the Cleveland Indians, now Guardians. I mean, it all depends on the ballpark, and they've always had larger ballparks in other cities. So it's not filled up. Well, it's way bigger than Fenway Park, which only has 32,000. The Oakland Alameda Coliseum is much bigger than that. So, I never bought that argument that a lot of these owners and things, it's like they use that big stadium as a way to move then. And it's like, no, you should be getting a better product and getting people and you can get cheaper seats. And so, no, I'm with you on that one. So, but when it comes to rate,
I was going to say, when it comes to the A's, when you stop fielding a minor league team and sending your best players to the top tier organizations as soon as they have MVP years, you might actually start to pack your stadium. But anytime you look at, but it always came down, like I said earlier, payroll and revenue sharing. They paid everything out. All of their organizational expenses came from revenue sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Came out of pocket never. Except for the new billboard that they put on top of the stadium maybe a couple years ago. That's been the only improvement that the Fishers have to the Coliseum in 20 plus years of ownership.
That's a damn shame.
Yikes!
That's a damn shame.
Yeah, and then obviously the Warriors moving to San Francisco. I mean, does Oakland, does it still feel like it's still their team, or is there still any resentment from that move? I know it's just across the bay, but it's still got
money. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Because the Cavs came there Saturday, and it doesn't even seem the same playing Golden State there as opposed to playing them at the Oracle.
I loved Oracle Arena. There was something about LeBron and the Cavs 4 straight years going to Oracle and playing. To me, it was like the Oakland Warriors, not this. I know it's Golden State, but to me, it was Oakland. It was that. It was San Francisco. It's too bougie. It's too. I don't know. It's not. It's like you said. It's for the upper elites, and it's not, to me. It's not basketball the way that it was meant to be. And I don't know. It's just sad thing.
It's like sports done filtered out the average fan, the average consumer,
not the elite consumer, your real, raw, die-hard fans.
Consumer, yes.
Are the people that can no longer afford the ticket price.
Yeah,
because the ticket, when they went to San Francisco, remember, before in Oakland, the Warriors were damn near the cheapest ticket and the cheapest tickets you can get in the NBA. I would have said in all of sports, but I mean, they're practically giving Ace tickets away, have been for years. But you take literally, you had every star in America coming through the Oakland airport, taking a BART directly to the stadium. They didn't even have to touch California soil at all. They could go straight to the stadium from the airport.
Wow.
And now out there in San Francisco at the Chase Center, it's a nice spot. It's down the street from the Giants Stadium.
Yeah.
And
okay.
It's a beautiful building. They got the little area set up. It looks cool. It's nice. I'm not knocking that whatsoever. But your ticket price is 5 times higher.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yes. CSNBA area is still free, or at least with Comcast.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's cool. Now, let me ask you a question now. Do they show, I'm going to tell you this, what happened to us in Cleveland when the original Browns moved to Baltimore. they were showing the Baltimore Ravens games here for 3 years. Like they were still our team. Now, do they still show the Raiders games in Oakland like that?
So I'm not in Oakland anymore, but I will say that I'm more towards the Sacramento market. And so the prime time games still get shown out here. Most of the time I see them all.
Okay.
And I don't have now. I will say the Giants game I had to stream, and maybe one. It had to be a real crummy game that they don't end up not putting on TV for us to not get it. But I will say that gone are the days where you would buy the NFL Sunday ticket and still not be able to see the Raiders.
Okay.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Sacktown, our Cleveland Cavaliers play the Kings tonight. And how's that new arena out in Sacramento? Have you been to it?
Yeah, Golden One. Golden One's nice.
It's not okay. It is not okay. That's
And it's in a good part. It's in a good part of Sac, downtown by the Capitol. So there's plenty of good food out there, plenty of scenery. It's a cool little spot, safe, all of that stuff.
Okay, because I'll still never get over the Lakers and the Sacramento Queens, as Shaq called them, back in, 2000. They got robbed in that Game 7. They got robbed so bad. And I guess I'll just leave it there.
That's like, so what? Cry about it, cry me a river. Lakers won the championship.
That's what I was just about to say. I was up there sitting here like, hey.
I don't have the pipes like Justin Timberlake, so I can't do that.
Hey. Shaq and them got it done when they needed it most.
They wanted it more.
They want the NBA wanted those dollars more, having the Lakers in the finals more. That's what that was all about. But
well, the funny thing now is that Sacramento is on the come, and Mike Brown is going to have them be a lot better. Look, quiet as kept. Don't be surprised if they turn into the new Warriors.
You know what? Former Cavaliers coach Mike Brown have no problem with that. We liked him in Cleveland, took us to the finals in 2007, and won Coach of the Year then. So I have no problem with Mike Brown. Good guy, and hopefully he gets it done. They're a fun team. They're a fun team, the Sacramento Kings, and we'll get to see them, like I said, on display tonight with the Cleveland Cavaliers at Sacramento later on. So that should be a fun matchup. Is there anything I know we had?
De'Aaron Fox is playing tonight.
De'Aaron, is he? Okay.
Oh, he is?
Oh, is he?
I
don't know. I haven't checked that.
I was about to ask you.
Yeah. Well, if he is, that's a good thing. If he's not, it's probably a good thing for my Cleveland Cavaliers, because De'Aaron Fox is pretty good. If you haven't heard out there, breaking news, De'Aaron Fox is really, really good. But
that dude's a monster.
He's pretty good. But
all right.
Yeah, I know we've had you got to get going pretty soon, but we want to have you on again. I know this was kind of short and everything like that, but plug everywhere that you're on, and I know you like to break it down. You got your Unfiltered, and I love how you do that and kind of play on words right there. But tell everywhere in the We Like Sportz audience where they can find you. And then, like I said, we'll put up some promos and things like that. And then we'll have you on again. And we can talk more in depth about other issues besides just maybe even sports, maybe about civics and about some things with sports and civics, because we love to delve into major issues as well.
Nice. That sounds awesome. First and foremost, just Google me, Phil Robinson III. My name pops up. It's incredible. Never thought you'd be able to Google me, but you can. Have been for a while. I write for the RaiderRamble.com. That's where you will find my most recent writing. I'm getting ready to get started on an article series that is basically checking off the boxes that Antonio Pierce needs to check in order to keep the job full time. As previously mentioned, I host the Unfiltered Truth. You can find us on YouTube. You can Google it. You'll see it on my Twitter account, Instagram, all of that good stuff. I've also started a new podcast with my co-host Alex Monfreda, editor at the Raider Ramble. We call it the Raider Ramble Cast. So just like I said, the best thing to do is just pop in my name and you'll see a long list of stuff that I'm doing, have done, or will do.
Well, you know what? Hey, Everybody check out Phil
That's
Robinson
what's
III. He's the guy, especially when you got Raiders questions or issues or unfiltered anything. So talk to my guy and check him out. And hey, thanks for joining us. I really good conversation, more than just sports, and I love that. And hey, we've got to have you on back again.
Yes, sir. It was fun. Again, and just for your listeners and all that, my DMs are all open. So you get one shot. If you come with something weak, you will get blocked.
Oh, a play at the plate, slide in those DMs. Nay, we got him.
We'll do to catch you here. I'm not pulling off.
Right. Well, you are definitely bringing it. Your Oakland Raiders. Look at me once again dating myself. Las Vegas Raiders are bringing it.
Check out. To a lot of people, they'll always still be known as the Oakland Raiders. It's just like how we talk here when y'all are saying about the Cleveland Indians and stuff like that. Yeah, they'll still be known as the Oakland Raiders.
The Tribe. Let's go Tribe. Go Tribe. All right, my guy. Well, take it easy. Have a good one. Enjoy sports, enjoy life, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, guys, Phil. Nice having you on, brother.
Awesome stuff. Okay, well, you know what, Keith? I know it's coming to a close real quick, but do you hear that, Keith? Do you hear that? I'm starting
something.
Yeah, it's something. This is Eddie Columbus with your We Like Sportz breaking news. That's right. The Michigan Wolverines defeated the Penn State Nittany Lions this past Saturday. As punishment for their sign-stealing scandal, the Wolverines were without head coach Jim Harbaugh. Hey, Big Ten, if you really want to punish Michigan, you would have suspended Nittany Lions head coach James Franklin instead. The Cleveland Browns defeated the Baltimore Ravens 33-31. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson was 6 of 20 completing passes in the first half and a perfect 14 of 14 in the second half. I'm not going to make a joke about halftime activities. That's too easy. And I'm just glad Watson and the Browns had a happy ending. And finally, the Chiefs had a bye this week, so no Tay-Tay and Travis news. But Travis Kelce did fly down to Buenos Aires to meet up with Swift, had dinner with her where they received a standing ovation, and kissed her as she was leaving the stage. Like I said, no news. And this is Eddie Columbus with your We Like Sportz breaking news.
Oh, yeah. I get to do my reel to reel.
Yeah, we're going fat. We're going to do it for real. Look at that. There it is.
Yes, sir. My for real to real is this. You suspended Jim Harbaugh for the final 3 games, but really, what has it done? I mean, for real, what has it done? What has it done? And trust and believe. You didn't catch Harbaugh at these games. You caught a dude that probably did it on his own, thinking he can get up in the organizational ladder by showing his worth. And true enough, I'm going to be honest, it don't mean shit if Ohio State don't beat them in 2 weeks. Because now you actually gave Michigan something to play for. Damn. Just being real. It gave him something to play for. Because I watched the game against Penn State, and not once did I feel that Michigan felt threatened in that football game.
I agree.
They did not feel threatened in that football game. And
they didn't throw the ball, Keith. They didn't even have to throw it at the second half.
Hey, you got to give the Michigan stand-in head coach credit.
Yeah, Sharon Williams.
He said, you know what? We're going to turn this game into a shrink game, and good luck stopping us.
Yeah, they imposed their will in the trenches, and that's what we always talk about on the We Like Sportz Show. You know what? And on Locked On Sports 216, hey, yes, win in the trenches. You win in the trenches.
Yes, and I mean, for real, who is you? I mean, come on now. All you doing now is jettison.
You pissed
Jim
him off,
Harbaugh
Keith.
To the,
you pissed him off.
Yeah. You're gonna make Jim Harbaugh go to the league now. You know what I'm saying?
That's okay. I'm okay. As a Buckeye fan, I'm okay with that.
But I actually like the fact that he's up at Michigan because now it's a rivalry now.
Yeah, no, but I liked it better when we were just kicking their butts.
I liked it better too, but can you admit though, it got kind of boring after
Yeah,
a while?
look, a rivalry is not a rivalry unless both teams go back and forth. I get it.
We was looking past Michigan.
The only problem I have, Keith, is this year is maybe because of last year, and I thought the Buckeyes should have beat Georgia and then win national championship. It just so happens that like when we play each other, we're both going to be probably 1-2 and undefeated. It's like when Michigan and Ohio State play and they knock each other off, you knock the other team down, you really knock them out of stuff, and it's just like, that's the one thing that's heartbreaking. But hey, I guess it's like the SEC with like Georgia and Alabama and all them. Hey, when you have two elite teams, only one can go. So I'm okay.
I will say this: it will probably be a situation like last year, but the only thing is Washington has to lose.
That's the thing. I think a one-loss Oregon team.
I don't see Washington losing. That's
I don't either.
Part.
I don't either.
That's why they don't have to play Oregon.
Right.
They already beat USC.
So you're saying if Ohio State goes up to Michigan and only loses but barely loses, do you think they could still get in?
Not if Washington don't lose.
I know, that's the thing. Florida State could lose. I think they're the one team.
And
that maybe
another team that slowly then crept back in it is Alabama.
Yeah, they have. Yes, they have. Jalen Milrose.
And Washington will have to lose, and you'll have to pray Jalen Milroe turn into Captain Kirk and take out Georgia.
Yeah. Well,
that'd be the only way.
And that is I got something real quick before we go, because we always like to do this. This is in favor for Casey, who loves 2004. But I actually have one. I actually have a Timehop 2004. And speaking of college football,
Baker Straw.
Yeah, right. It's a Baker Straw. That's right, Baker Straw, Casey. Okay, 2004. Who led the Big Ten in receiving in 2004? I'll give you a hint. He might have played for our favorite NFL team.
Robisky?
Think about it. Think other team.
2004.
He let's just say this. He would have been at this. I think he would have been a freshman. This would have been his freshman year.
Tig again, June.
No, I think other team. Think team up. Eventually was a player for the Orange and Brown. LeBron James's posse got into it with him at a nightclub.
Braylon Edwards.
That is correct. He had 1,330 yards, set a Big Ten record eventually with 39 touchdowns. That still stands today, broke Anthony Carter's record. And also the other question was, who won the Big Ten in 2004?
Was it Michigan?
It was Michigan at 7-1. Yeah. They tied Iowa, but beat Iowa, so they got to go to the Rose Bowl. So that's our
also shout out to Braylon Edwards, because even though the Browns had cut ties with him, he had stuck to his word with his scholarship program.
Education and scholarships, yep.
Yes, he did. Shout out to Braylon Edwards.
Shout out to him. No problem. 2007 was fun. Had 16 touchdowns, and he it was a fun year. So I have no beef against him. Maybe LeBron and his posse does. I don't.
I don't. Braylon, you good with me, brother? You was good with me. He just wanted to win.
He just won, yeah.
And and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people take for granted that when you go to these teams and you come from programs that might have lost only 2 or 3 times in 3-4 years, and then you go and then you lose like 5 times that.
Yes.
You're going to feel a certain type of way.
Yeah. Yeah. Keith, how cool was my Compton hat tonight on a scale of 1 to 10?
Nah.
Okay, fair enough. And it was week 9 in the NFL, so that makes sense to me. But yes, Keith, before we jump off here, do you have any parting shots? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to plug? Because I know you got your top 10 coming out, so please do that.
Yes, be sure to check out the Locked On Sports 216 Top 10 NFL Power Rankings. They will be coming out on Wednesday, November the 15th. It will be a lot of moving and shaking. And after today, it's officially the Schittsburg Squillers week.
Oh!
The Schittsburg Squillers week is officially their week. So Cleveland Browns, I need y'all to buckle down. Because like I said, you got one victory. It's time to get greedy and take 2.
Yes. Also, too, Locked On Sports 216 coming up pre-game and post-game this Sunday against the Steelers.
Yes.
Going to kick off around noon for the pre-game, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then half hour after for the post-game, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
I'm excited, Keith. I get excited about that because it's a big week, and we got some fun.
Locked On Sports 216, the regular show will come on Thursday. I'll probably talk about the Cavs.
Okay.
Talk about Cleveland State. Talk about Vikings have a good team. Y'all got to support that team.
Check them out. Support them, please.
Check them out. Check them out. I know everybody got Ohio State down there. Also, shout out to the Glenville Tarblooders in Division 4 and the St. Ed Eagles in Division 1 as they are going to the regional finals this weekend.
Okay. Shout out. Yep.
Good luck. Glenville got Sandusky Perkins, and I don't know who St. Ed's playing.
Who St. Edward's going to beat? They're pretty good.
Basically. But shout out and good luck to both schools.
Absolutely. But I just want to say shout out to my family for letting me do this. And I know sometimes I get annoying and loud and everything like that. So I just want to say, hey, thanks for putting up with me. I want to say everybody in the We Like Sportz audience, have a great week. Enjoy your teams. And we will commence. I think maybe next week we might have to go on Tuesday. I'm not quite sure. You'll have to see my schedule, my son's basketball. I'll let you know, Keith. Cool. So check us out either Monday or Tuesday next week at 5:30. So just want everybody to know. Enjoy the weekend. Browns Steelers week. So I got to say this. Fuck Pittsburgh and let's go.
Yes. Browns. Fuck the bird. Fuck them black and piss yellow. You know what?
I knew I'd get you to
smack them black and yellow itches.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you for that. And everybody have a good one. Peace out. And,
I want to say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see the fiery Kevin Stefanski? You saw him yesterday.
He did, and we'll hopefully see him this Sunday.
He was in them refs' ass yesterday.
And
way to go, Coach. Way to go, Kevin.
Sounds good to me.
Way to go.
We'll leave it on that. So, like I said, peace out, everybody, and we will catch you next week at 5:30, either Monday or Tuesday.
And my player of the week is Tillman because he set the tone when he knocked Van Noy back on his ass.
I can't.
Even though it might have been a crack block or whatever you call it.
We're not here to talk about what it might have been. It was not called that.
But hey, Tillman, you set the tone and changed the tone of the game.
Thank you for your service, Tillman.
Yes.
All right. Peace out, everyone.
Catch some passes now next week.
Thank you.